Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, April 21, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know that that's been liking your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic, we can see that we have a ridge of high pressure across portions of the United States, and we have another ridge of high pressure across portions of the main development region right there to the west of Africa. If you also take a look to the north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico, we have a trough. If you take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that trough across sections of the eastern Turks and Caicos and to the waters to the north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. If we also take a look, we can see a lot of cloud cover right there across portions of the southern and eastern United States, at this time associated with a cold front. If we take a look closer, we can also see some clouds across portions of the eastern Caribbean as well, bring some amount of overcast skies, showers and thunderstorms to those spots as well. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made for Friday's weather across Jamaica in yesterday's post. It was stated on our Twitter page that we would have received some amount of rainfall in the afternoon across sections of eastern, central and western Jamaica, and as usual we had the ECMWF, which is the European model, and the GFS, which is the North American model, both in agreement, showing a lot of blue shades that indicate rainfall across those various spots. And what ended up happening? At 4:06 p.m. a post was made highlighting some clouds building up and leading to some amount of overcast skies and rainfall across those very areas. So we indeed had some amount of rainfall across sections of some eastern, central and western parishes. Not everywhere, but we indeed had some rainfall across some areas. And we know that eastern, central and western parishes all refer to those in the counties of Surrey, Middlesex and Cornwall. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see those clouds, and if we even take a closer look, we can see that we had that upper level wind shear pushing off those clouds off towards the east or the southeast in that fashion. Taking a look at the infrared satellite images, we could also see that we had some amount of upper level clouds in there with a few patches of blues or greens right there across portion of northern Jamaica, so inland areas of St. Anne, and we even had some flashes of lightning with some sparkling white dots right there in those spots as well. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images, we can see that we indeed had some amount of lingering showers right there, but up to recording hours it started to dissipate. So we indeed had that green that represents moderate rainfall, and we still have some amount of rainfall offshore to the north and to the southwest of the island as well. Taking a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology websites, accumulated precipitation across Jamaica for the past 24 hours. This indeed confirms the rainfall that we had across sections of eastern, central and western Jamaica for today. So we see that it indeed occurred, especially across inland areas as well. Taking a look at temperatures for tonight, we can see that we have 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and as usual these temperatures should be getting lower as the night progresses. Taking a look at the temperatures for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS has Jamaica embedded in the clear for the most part. So we don't have those yellows or oranges or reds that indicate above normal temperatures, and we don't have those sky blue to dark blue colors that indicate below average temperatures. For the most part, both the Euro and the GFS are showing that for 1 p.m. on Saturday, Jamaica should be in the clear, so we should be receiving some average temperatures, and the average temperatures, as we know, for the month of April, 88 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 31 degrees Celsius. Taking a look at the dry air map for tomorrow, we can see that Jamaica is still embedded in a lot of moist air, and as indicated by the blues. The driest air seems to be right there off the eastern coast of the United States, as well as right there across the waters to the west of Africa. Let's talk Sahara and dust, as we can see the majority of the hazy weather associated with the Sahara Desert is right there across portion of the southern Caribbean. So maybe the ABC Islands, some sections of the Windward Islands, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, maybe even spilling into sections of Guyana, French Guyana and Suriname, as well as the waters right there across the main development region right there, and that's valid for 2 p.m. on Saturday. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that this is as good as it gets in terms of waves. We have less than 1 meter waves across the island for tomorrow, and both the Euro and the GFS agree with that, and that's due to the fact that we won't be receiving that much strong wind, and considering that we will be receiving average temperatures for the month of April for tomorrow, it might even feel a bit hotter than that, especially with the lack of winds across the island tomorrow. Look at this map showing 5 knot winds or less, and the winds don't seem to be coming from any specific direction. If you look closely on the Euro model, we see the winds coming in from the south, and if we look closely across western Jamaica, we see it coming in from the west, and if we look closely on the northern section of the island, coming in from the north. So we seem to be having some amount of variable winds. But where does all of that wind pile up? We seem to be having that pile up of wind right there across inland areas of central and eastern Jamaica, and we have that consensus on both maps. And we know what usually takes place in the afternoon hours when we have that happening. We have that buildup of clouds that can lead to some afternoon convection. And where's the wind shear going to be coming from for 1 p.m. on Saturday? 1 p.m. on Saturday, we have that wind shear coming in from the west, as we can see on both the Euro and the GFS models. So anything that we have developing across inland areas of some central and eastern parishes tomorrow, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, the wind will be blowing all of that off towards the east. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that both the Euro and the GFS are showing rainfall, especially across those areas for tomorrow, central and eastern Jamaica. Look at those colors on the Euro model. Lots of greens, even yellows in there across portion of St. Thomas as well. Greens across maybe sections of St. Catherine, Portmore, maybe even Kingston and St. Andrew getting in on some of that rainfall. And this is valid for 3 p.m. on Saturday. And we see some consensus on the GFS models with the same spot. All of those darker blues is not as robust as what the Euro model is showing, but it's still something similar. There is agreement, there's consensus right there across sections of St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, even sections of St. Thomas. So we shall see exactly what unfolds. Please ensure that you all try your best to get that laundry done early so that you're not that drastically affected by that afternoon convection. If we even take a look at the accumulated precipitation, considering that both maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. Not saying that we're going to be having rainfall from now all the way up to 10 p.m. on Saturday, but we know that the rainfall is going to be in the afternoon hours, and we see the consensus of the heaviest rainfall right there across portions of some central and eastern parishes, especially eastern parishes where we have all of those reds, even up to 0.75 of an inch of rainfall being expected across portions of those spots. And even on the GFS model, we have 0.77, a bit more across portion of central Jamaica, 0.84. We shall see exactly what unfolds. We have consensus, and we know that when we have consensus on both maps, when we have agreement on both maps, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. And we're indeed grateful for the rainfall that we've been getting in the month of April, considering that we've been going through a drought for some time. Lots of bushfires taking place across the island, and any rain that we can get in the month of April, we'll take it. It's a blessing. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. Alright, so taking a look, we can see that we have a lot of clouds to the north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico associated with that trough. Clouds across portion of the Gulf of Mexico, as well as section of the southern United States. Not to mention a lot of clouds right there across portions of southern Costa Rica, sections of Colombia, Venezuela, French Guyana, Suriname, and Guyana as well. You can also see that we have a lot of clouds across portions of the eastern and northeastern Caribbean. Taking a look at the visible satellite at the Doppler radar images right now, we can see that we have a lot of rainfall even up to recording hour. This is all the rainfall that we're experiencing right now, 7:05 p.m. Look at all that rainfall across portion of northern and northwestern Puerto Rico. We have a lot of rainfall as well across portions of Guadeloupe, Dominica, St. John, St. Kitts, Montserrat. We also have some rainfall that could be coming into sections of Anguilla, St. Martin, Antigua, Barbuda, even portions of St. Bart's as well. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images from earlier today, from about 1:45 p.m., we can see that those various spots have been receiving that rainfall, and this rainfall is not in a hurry to move, especially considering that the winds in the area are weak, so the clouds are not in a hurry to be pushed off anywhere or get out of the neck of the woods as yet. I will show you that wind forecast shortly. But if we take a look at the Doppler radar images, closer look at the Barbados radar, we don't see much happening across Barbados, but to the northwest of there we can see some amount of rainfall across portions of Martinique, portions of St. Lucia as well, even spilling into sections of Grenada at this time. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, you can see some amount of rainfall right there across portions of southern Florida, portions of western Cuba as well. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see the highest waves right there across the waters to the north, the northern section of the North Atlantic. That's where the waters are the highest, and that's due to the fact that the strongest winds are over those spots, as indicated by all of those yellows coming in from the north and the west. So that's where the wave heights would be expected to be the highest. Take a look at the Caribbean in general. Lots of blues that indicate less than 5 knot winds. Lots of warming taking place, especially across the waters of the Caribbean and the southwestern Atlantic, considering that we don't have that wind to be blowing off all of those sea surface temperatures at the top. So definitely some warming taking place at this time. And we can see some amount of greens right there coming in from the east or the east southeast across portions of the Windward Islands as usual. That is as windy as it gets in those spots. Majority of the Caribbean seems to be in the less than 5 knot wind range for 12 p.m. on Saturday. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow, taking a look at all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3 on Sunday, which is actually 10 p.m. on Saturday. We can see that we have even up to an inch of rainfall being predicted across portions of Hispaniola, section of Jamaica, just as we stated earlier, portion of southeastern Cuba, less than an inch of rainfall expected, portion of northern Puerto Rico, less than an inch of rain expected. We might receive up to an inch of rainfall right there across portions of the eastern or the northeastern Caribbean, especially considering that majority of the rainfall is happening now. So we still have the rainfall in store for Guadeloupe, majority of the Leeward Islands, Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's, Antigua, right there. We might have a cutoff anywhere to the south of Martinique. So all of those islands right there, so St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent, Grenada, won't be getting in on much of the rainfall as the islands to the north. But look at the far south, and we see that on both models, majority of southern Trinidad, not to mention Venezuela, Colombia, portions of Costa Rica, and the border right there across portions of Panama, getting in on some amount of rainfall, even up to 2 inches or more of rainfall being expected across those spots. And we have consensus on both the Euro and the GFS models, and we know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Taking a look at the western portion of the basin, we can see that we don't have much in store to receive across portions of Honduras or Belize for now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. Majority of the rainfall seems to be right there across portions of Guatemala, as well as portions of eastern Mexico right there. Maybe even up to an inch of rainfall could be expected across those spots. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.